Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Gamestah TV. This time my mic is not muted, so welcome to HKAYCEE versus Cosa Nostra. It's Challenger versus Diamond in the team rankings in the round robin stage of this tournament, the Skynet Winter Tournament, brought to you live from windy Wellington. My name is Crisis. I'm joined once again by Mendrix. G'day, Mendrix.
Hey, Crisis. Happy to be here. Excited to see the outcome of this game. This should be a good one.
Yeah, we've had a couple of pretty one-sided games, and I think both of the teams that are going to be playing in this match are going to be knuckling down and taking things seriously.
Yeah, a lot of these teams just, before they were just showing a little bit of their style points, being a little bit more, not as, being a little bit sloppy with their plays because they knew that their mechanics and would actually pull them through in this situation, but not now. Now they have to really knuckle down and make sure they're careful because each one of them know how to punish a mistake, and so they can't really be out there trying to make those fancy little plays like they were trying to do last games.
So we're straight into Champion Select, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, and the bans have gone down very quickly. These teams not wasting time with any of their bans, and HKAYCEE have paid attention to Minicol's devastating Alistar, banned him out completely. Nidalee, interestingly enough, is banned out in Hecarim, and it's been a while since I've last seen a Nidalee ban.
Yeah, Nidalee's one of those ones that probably doing a target ban in those situations. Nidalee's still a very strong jungler, even with the Runeglaive change. She's one of those few junglers that didn't really need to have Runeglaive buffed to really help her out in the jungle, but with it now it just makes her even more stronger because it procs on hit attacks. So it's one of the big things, and that's probably why you see that Ezreal ban there as well, because what you find is a lot of Ezreals at the moment running Smite in the mid lane, and what they do is they build full AP and their on hit attacks proc Luden's Echo, so the Qs would come out and boom, hit everyone for 600 damage every time a Q was landed. So that's probably why they decided to take that out of the fight as well.
Yeah, I remember reading some of the comments, the feedback from the patch notes about Runeglaive. People having an absolute gigantic sook over what it's done to Ezreal. So we might see some changes, I guess, either to Ezreal or to the effects before that really goes live. Well, I suppose it is live already, isn't it?
It is live at the moment. They are removing it in the next patch, where they're going to remove the on-hit effects from spells. So it's things like it doesn't affect Luden's Echo. They're being very surgical with the removal of it. So that's going to be something that's changing in a future patch, but at the moment, very strong, very relevant.
So it will still work on something like what's it? The frozen, not the frozen mallet. Never mind. I'll think of the name in a few minutes. Well, let's just run through the teams because we've forgotten to do that. On the blue team, left-hand side is HKAYCEE, and that's Saicha. I don't know. Saicha. Design.
We'll find out later what the name is.
They'll tell us. Jonty Wanty, Spectre, and Sykes. And for the red team, we've got Cosa Nostra, and that's Posmil, Spartan, Elite, Coon Squad, who is Gamestah's very own Poon, and Menicol. So how are these teams shaping up at this stage? We've got junglers picked. I assume that the Jarvan's going to be a jungler, going up against Rek'Sai's, the jungler for HKAYCEE.
Yeah, so Rek'Sai is just one of those champions at the moment. As I was mentioning before, he's one of the best in slot pickups. He's very strong in the jungle at the moment. He has the ability to really move around the map and come out from odd angles that you wouldn't expect, and that's why he's so strong. On top of that, he provides amazing utility with his knockback, just really good engage, and he's a solid champion. He can really take a lot of hurting as well. So, and a lot of escapability once he really makes it engage. So one of the reasons why he's been picked up, Rumble is just a great pick at the moment as well. Provides a lot of team fight utility for the team on the side of HKAYCEE. And if you look at that, they've also got that Azir, another real big pick at the moment. He just really controls that team, controls team fights, zoning, and really has a good time in the mid lane. Jinx, fantastic champion all around. She's been relevant for a while, been hit with a few nerfs as well. And Janna is always strong, the queen of disengage, really.
Yeah, I guess that fills in the one weakness that Janna, that Jinx has, is her mobility around the battlefield. So any positional mistakes will not be punished that badly, I guess, if Sykes is on point.
Yeah, as long as Sykes is on point, Jinx should be fine. Really, that Monsoon, the Tornado knock up, her shields really do make a big difference. There's a lot of things that a lot of supports that do play Janna like to pick up Magi simply because it's just so hard to kill her. If you're playing well, you don't die, you get a lot of assists, and next thing you know, you've got a stacked Magi.
So let's have a look at this bot lane matchup since we've talked about Jinx. We're going to have Coon Squad, instead of going for Vayne very weak early on, he's not at all confident that he's going to be able to bully in the lane. Menacol, of course, not on his favourite Alistar. So Caitlyn in combination with Braum going up against Jinx versus... Jinx in combination with Janna.
Well, this is very smart by the side of not HKAYCEE, but Cosa Nostra to really pull this through, because what they have is you've got two champions who have been recently buffed. You've got Caitlyn, who her headshot passive now ignores 50% of armor when it's up, and on top of that, you've got Braum, who's had his Q buffed as well. So what you have is this sort of thing is like, well, let's bring in two champions who are, they weren't exactly used the most in competitive play, but they've just been recently buffed. It might bring a lot of surprising power to them, and that'll probably be enough to really topple the bottom lane. On top of that, it's really great synergy, because if the moment Braum lends his Winter's Bite, that long range from Caitlyn can really help proc it as well. So just an extra 3 shots after that, and boom, they've got a stun lockdown. On top of that, once that stun lockdown procs, we can throw a trap on there as well. Just keep the CC train rolling in the bot lane.
Well, we'll have to see whether they're going to be able to synergize in that way. Elite in the mid lane has picked up his Russian mage going up against, what is that? The Egyptian. Russia versus Egyptian.
Russia versus Egyptian, yeah. It's kind of fun. You've got the Ascendant versus the Cyborg, really. It's one of those things where they're both trying to advance themselves to different sentient forms. And it's going to be an interesting matchup there, really. You got that long-range poke from Victor, but there's massive zoning potential from Azir. Both of them have zoning on their own right, but Azir does come out on top there, but the massive burst that Victor has available to him is definitely going to give him a bit of an edge early on in the game. So look for him to really bully out Azir until really that Emperor's Divide comes on through, then he has to watch out, because you have to always be wary of Azir using his Q combo to push someone in with Emperor's Divide underneath the turret.
Well, we did see Elite earlier on playing Victor and getting himself caught out a couple of times with overconfidence. I'm sure that he is not going to be playing in the same manner against Jonty Wanty's Azir. In the top lane, we've already talked a little bit about Rumble and how strong he is at the moment. We mentioned in the previous game when Na got banned out that he wasn't as strong, but we do have Posmil picking up the Na.
So Na's still a great champion to have. He's a really good early, he's a good ranged bully, and it's going to be good against the Rumble, because that means he can really, because Rumble himself is a lane bully as well. The idea is he's going to go through and push that lane out and make sure it's all good. When you've got a ranged bully like Na, Rumble can't really operate in that same sort of regard. So it's going to be harder for side shares to really push through and push this Na out of lane. The other big thing is that Na's just sort of fallen out of favor. The reason why is because you have to rely on his transformation to be really effective in team fights, whereas Rumble, as long as he's got his ultimate, he can be pretty much effective the whole time through, because that equalizer is just such a big win condition in a team fight, especially when you're trying to go for those dragons and you're trying to go for those barons, or any long engaged fight in the jungle area where they've got these narrow chokes that can just line it across. The same thing for Na in that situation. If he's got his Mega Na form up and he's able to get into a team fight situation where he's able to push you up against the wall and get like a three-man lockdown in that situation, it's really great for him to get that as well, but it's just a bit more reliable on the side of Rumble, and that's probably why you see Rumble picked up a lot more than Na.
Well, just looking at the way the teams synergized with each other, HKC, we mentioned earlier about Janna's being the queen of disengage. They actually have a huge amount of control over the battlefield on their side, and they're able to dictate things in the battlefield with the types of CC that they have, and at any time just hold everybody off at arm's reach and allow Jinx to constantly do DPS. As I guess they would, if they get themselves into trouble, they'd be conducting tactical retreats more than anything else.
Pretty much. Well, the big thing is that if there is trouble there, Sykes is the person to stop it, to make sure everything's fine. They see an engage or something's going their way, that's fine. Sykes get in there, Monsoon, everyone hightail on out of it, as everyone likes to call it, from that particular passive genre called Tailwind. Let's get out of here straight away. You do have a lot of disengage on the side that you have as your soldiers to push and zone everyone off. You do have the slow effect from Rumble. You do have the chompers that can be placed down, the flame chompers that Spectre has at her hand as well. So there is a lot of tools the whole team has, but couple that with the fact that Jana's there as well, everyone should be able to get out in a bad engage. But remember, looking on the side of Cosa Nostra, they have a really strong engage team. If you manage to get a Jarvan engage into a Mega Gnar ultimate, really pushing you up against the wall, that is such an amazing combination, because really in that situation you're gonna get knocked up against the wall, because the walls will be created by Jarvan. So that's why the Jarvan, or as they like to say, the Narvan combination is so strong. Haven't seen it for a while. It was really popular at the beginning of the season, but there's been a few nerfs coming on through for Jarvan, been a few nerfs on Gnar, and that's really, stopped it from being pushed on through from there. Now that Jarvan's back, he had a recent buff where he can have at one point, if he's got full cooldown reduction, 2 flags. That means he's got the option to choose 2 different locations he wants to EQ to. It's a really big buff for him in that situation, and that means he just makes him more mobile. So that's why he's sort of having this resurgence now.
Just a quick word from the admins. There is a problem with the chat, so not really sure what chat exactly.
They might have an in-game TeamSpeak that it's not working for them.
Oh, so that might be it. Yeah.
So it's really important that they have that chat's working for them, because the teams need to be able to communicate.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was thinking text chat and in-game chat, and thinking, well, what does that stop them from pinging or something?
Well, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see here how these teams go through. I'd say you do have the different teams that you have. You've got this team fight engage team on the side of HKC, whereas on Cosa Nostra you have more of a siege composition. So the idea is they're going to wait, they're going to sit back in siege, they're going to use the Winter's Bite from Braum, the Peacemakers from Caitlyn, the Death Ray from Victor. And they're just going to sit there and wait for Gnar to charge up his, he's also going to be throwing his boomerangs as well, and flags will be dropping down on the side, and pokes coming through from Jarvan. But the moment you see that Mega Gnar come on through, look for them to engage. That's their go button, that's their trigger. Whereas if you look on the sides of HKC, they're probably going to sit there, absorb it, wait for a mistake, and then there's going to be a massive equalizer into design knock-up. That's what they're going to look for, and then watch Jonty Wanty roll on through, watch Spectre roll on through, and really try to deal the damage and finish off any engage that happens there. So it's going to be a lot of chess games in this particular one. Everyone's going to be waiting to see who's going to be put out of position. Probably look on the side, HKC have the ability to delete Cosa Nostra, but if they can't get an opportunity to engage and really take control of it, Cosa Nostra will wear down HKC and eventually win the game. So these 2 win conditions that you've got on the side, if you're looking for HKC, that perfect engage, Cosa Nostra, they're going to try to wear them down. Those are the 2 win conditions for the different teams.
And I guess Cosa Nostra's perfect engage win condition is something that they have the tools to create. It's, like you were saying, they don't have to wait for they don't have to wait for something to build up. They can hit the go button and go at any point in time. So it's really up to them to choose when to do that. Whereas I suppose the negativity, the negative aspect of it, having to wait for the Gnar to charge, is that you don't necessarily want the Gnar, you don't want Mega Gnar in order to have a team fight. It's really to just gain advantage on the battlefield in order to take an objective.
Yeah, basically that's the point there that we're looking for, because what you have is, slowly that siege will eventually take effect, and if HKC haven't done anything to really pressure Cosa Nostra on out, well, if they're weak enough, you probably say they managed to get a really good Peacemaker and Death Ray onto one of their squishier sides. Well, it seems to be a little bit of a fight as they find each other in the river.
Yeah, all 5 of here, and Sykes has gotten himself caught. He pops his Q, but he's been taken down. Too much stuns. And he gets caught right there. We've got a flash, though, from Menacol, forcing a flash out of Spectre. Gets a Winter's Bite down and 1 follow-up hit. And he'll be pleased with that, because I think Spectre not having his flash is going to be more of a disadvantage than Menacol the Braum.
Yeah, that was very poor there by HKC, not respecting the Braum invade. Really, the moment that Winter's Bite lands, the fact that that passive is there, once the stun comes through, it's quite a long stun, and it's really a big thing there. They thought they had the advantage, because if you manage to get a really good wind knock-up from Janna, and everyone's lined up in that situation, there's a massive slaughter that can occur once the whole team's been knocked up. But they just weren't in position quick enough, and that allowed Cosa Nostra to really get the jump onto them, and then from that situation, boom. First blood easily going on through to them as Janna has fallen.
So Victor picked up that kill and went straight back, bought himself another Doran's ring. So the bully in the lane is going to be able to bully even more. What did he put a point in though?
He put it into Siphon Power.
Yeah, into his Q. So not his long range poke.
Not his long range poke. He'll probably get that, I'd say, second. And then after that, he'll probably get his gravity field. He's going to look to really try and bully him out. Because he knows that Rek'Sai won't really come too early. He should manage to get to level 3 beforehand. Because Rek'Sai's going to try to be a little bit more careful now that basically there's going to be an advantage on the side of Victor. And you really don't want to get caught in between a Jarvan and a Victor who's ahead.
So in the bottom lane, we've got Spectre and Sykes pushing the lane as hard as they can. But Coon Squad and Menacol not going to have any sort of problem dealing with that. As you pointed out, Coon Squad on the Caitlyn has that range and will be able to get a bunch of harass down. There you go. Every second or third of his auto attacks, he's popping down and popping it onto Spectre, who hasn't been able to reply.
Yeah, it's very hard for Jinx to reply early against a Caitlyn because she doesn't really have enough points in her Q yet, and even then her Q uses up mana, which is something you really don't want to be using straight away. So you'll probably have Caitlyn bullying her out early. That zap damage and her minigun's very effective. Wow, that damage because the extra Dory Ring onto Jonty 1 is huge, but they might get Spectre here.
Yeah, Winter's Bite, well, the passive procs, and Spectre takes a huge amount of damage there. In the top lane, we got Rek'Sai just kind of lurking a little bit, but there's a ward there, and Posmil backs off. Rek'Sai now backing off as well. Meanwhile, Spartan picking up his red buff and will be looking for a gank surely. Mid lane is a prime spot for that to happen. Jonty Wanty has taken a massive amount of damage and is low on mana as well. Going to be pushed underneath his turret, and, well, Rek'Sai lurking about as well.
He's looking about, but there is Jarvan as well in close proximity, but maybe not close enough. Rek'Sai's probably looking for a gank now. The moment he sees him out of position, he'll probably go for it. He is backing away now, probably doesn't feel too confident, thinks they might just end up trading kills in this situation, and he's just going to let that happen. Poor Jonty Wanty, wow, he's really low. He needs to get on out of there now. Just give up some farm, buddy.
Yeah, Elite really pressing his advantage, forcing his opponent out of lane. And, well, we turn to the top lane. Posmil is in trouble, and it could almost, well, I was going to say it could almost be too little too late. And in fact it is. Spartan isn't able to save Posmil, but he might be able to get the reply. So he's got some red buff procs, and unfortunately for him it's not enough. HKC Design arrives and forces him out of the jungle. So well played there by Syche.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was able to pick up that kill there. Just poor positioning on the side of Posmil there. He really should have been able to avoid Rumble's abilities in that situation because he's quite flexible to move around and hop around. Very well played by Syche to really pick that up as well. And now that he's got an advantage in the mid lane, that's going to be huge because that means he's going to be able to get through and really pick up his Seeker's Arm Guard early. There it is there. That's going to let him stack up some AP as quickly as possible. And now from there, all he really needs to do is get his Haunting Guys and his spell penetration boots. And once he's picked those up, he has a really fantastic power spike. So getting Rumble early is good. It means good things when the team fights break out. And I look for that to happen when that Dragon's available.
Down in the bottom lane, Caitlyn and Braum continue to push their lane forward, so even Spectre not able to keep the minions off of his turret and still taking damage, but we can see there have been a couple of trades in the meantime. Now the junglers are going to meet each other in the river. HKC Design gets a speed boost after taking down the Scuttle Crab, gets himself out of danger quite quickly and just in time to avoid Menacol coming through.
Yeah, Medical's been doing a great job in this series at the moment. Like you said, his Alistair is amazing, but his Winter's Bite's been really on point. And as well, this game, he's just been there making sure he's been a big menace, really, on the side for Coon Squad to basically get free farm. He's up 6 CS at the moment. You probably would expect Caitlyn to be a little bit more. So Spectre's doing a great job making sure she can hold on to some CS in this situation. Spectre does outscale Caitlyn in the late game because she does have that higher range or close to the same amount of range and more burst damage available to her. But at the end of the day, Caitlyn's still fantastic in the late game because that massive range that he has is available on hit. And there goes Possible trying to get a cycle, trying to return a kill, got to level 6 before him.
Yeah, getting the CC down, smashes Sykes into the wall, flashes forward to make sure that he gets the kill, and takes him down. So a revenge kill over there in the top lane. It's now 2-1 as we head up to the 7-minute mark. The gold lead on the side of the Diamond team. And CSN will be very, very pleased with the way how things are going. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we've got a full-on engage between Elite and Jonty Wanty going down. And on their flank, HKAYCEE Design getting driven away by Spartan, who came through as well. So making sure that the fight in the mid lane was a fair fight. You know, 1 versus 1.
Yeah, Cosa Nostra is really bullying them at the moment. It's quite surprising to see how they're going. HKC should have the advantage. There they go. He's trying to see if he can pick up John T. Wanty there, but CN Spartan not close enough to really land that EQ combination. But yeah, at the moment, as I was saying before, they're just completely dominating the map at the moment. And this, it's not like really, in terms of the late game, HKC should win out. However, though, the way that Cosa Nostra is going, that might not happen. They're just really making sure they've got a nice stranglehold on the map. There's advantages growing everywhere, although very well done by Jinx to really narrow that gap between that CS before. It was 50, she was 6 CS up, now she's 2 CS up. There she goes, she's picking up a little bit more because the lane is pushing towards her now. But really, fantastic job by Jinx to really not get completely bullied out by this Caitlyn, especially since she managed to pick up an early assist.
And especially since Spectre hasn't had flash for the whole time. You know, had that early flash during the jungle engage. Of course, it's up now, but has been at a disadvantage. Sykes and Minikol having a how's your father in the jungle, and Sykes is going to get Winter's bitten. Concussive blowed in the back of the head and stunned down. Coon Squad picks it up with his headshot. So nice little snipe through, making sure that he gets the kill and assists onto the jungler and his support, which clears the way now for the first dragon attempt just before the 9-minute mark.
Yeah, very sneaky dragon being pulled on through there, using the tankiness of Brom and his Unbreakable to really pull on through. A nice ward coverage on the side of Cosa Nostra there as well. So, very well played by them to pick up another kill there, really bullying out this Janna as well. But HKC might be trying to get into Caitlyn there, but she's just going to get away from that. Possible's having some issues at the moment as well. He managed to get the revenge kill, but unfortunately for him at the moment, Sidecast might have found him, but he's turning the tables.
Yeah, he's going in. He fancies his chances, but then hops out of the way because, goodness me, Mega Knight might be on its way, but it's not quite there, and less than 200 HP against a mage. Yeah, probably a good idea to get out of there.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to get out of there in that situation. And another thing as well, that Brumbles is really good at making sure he's keeping himself within that danger zone point, really increasing his damage from that Flame Spitter as well. So he really does want to get out of there because once he gets in between that point of controlling his heat, he's really, really strong. But ooh, looks like Coon Squad might have been caught out.
Yeah, Braum is there just in time though, gets in the way to eat the damage and scare Spectre off, who's looking pretty low. I guess the disadvantage is Coon Squad doesn't have a lot of mana. So if there is an opportunity to follow up with a headshot when it comes with cooldown, which is now, it's off cooldown, he's not going to be able to use it because he doesn't have enough mana.
Well, I mean, with the headshot, he can use that because it's just a passive hit, so it's all good in that regard. It's the Peacemaker that you really want to be using, especially when he wants to use the ace in the hole. Then when that opportunity arises, she won't be able to. But it's all a matter of them really, she's sort of hit her power trough now with Caitlyn. Caitlyn's kind of not that strong in the mid game. Once she manages to get her 2-item power spike, which is her IE, her Phantom Dance, or the Static Shiv, that's when she becomes relevant again. That's when she becomes very strong. So look for them to really be more of an advantage now towards this point in the game towards Jinx. That's why you're seeing her to have that extra mana over her. And again, only 2 CS, but if Mana Soul's going in, they're going to try and get Sykes.
Wow, and there's action in the top lane as well. Coon Squad gets himself out of position, gets taken down. He was knocked over by the Monsoon, and Menacol now having to get out of dodge quickly. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Posmil looking to get something started with Psych and create an opportunity for Spartan to come through, but unfortunately not able to land any of his CC. So that really is just Spartan showing himself in lane and then having to move on out of there.
Yeah, just going back to that bot lane, that was a fantastic flash Monsoon by Sykes there to push Caitlyn back into the tower, taking advantage of the fact that they had overextended and then really punishing them for it. Now they're able to bring up that kill score 2 to 3, a bit more manageable in that situation. The early dragon's still in the favor of Cosa Nostra at the moment, so they are still ahead with that 1k gold lead. But like I said, in this mid game area, look for HKC to really start to take control. They've got a lot of mid-game power spikes. That with Jinx, that with the fact that they've got the Rumble as well. He's fantastic in the mid-game. And the idea is that they're going to try and let Azir sort of take control towards the late game. He's doing a good job really trying to maintain this mid lane against...
Wow, we got to engage in the mid lane. Jonty Wanty eats an ulti. The flash from Elite to try and finish things off. But Jonty's flash was up itself and he manages to get out of there. Meanwhile, seeing Elite could get into a bit of trouble here with such a low HP bar. Gets himself behind his turret and, well, he's decided not to blue pill. Chugs a drink. Because in comes CN Spartan, gets the EQ combo in, forces the flash out of HKAYCEE design, but it's not enough. Menacol comes through and smacks him on the back of the head with a shield and takes him down. In the top lane, we've got an exchange between Posmil and Saicha, and Posmil fancying his chances is hanging about here, gets the boomerang all the way over onto Saicha, who's just sticking around very, very dangerously and making sure that he clears the wave before he blue pills.
Yeah, he's got that Hex Drinker now. He is up 20 CS as well, so he's slowly building a lead against him. Oh, Sykes has been caught out again.
Yeah, uses his Monsoon defensively. HKC design is there. There's a kill going down to Spectre, because in the background, he and Coon Squad were going up against each other, and Coon Squad came a cropper, and everybody else manages to get themselves out there. So Sykes, there's your Queen of Disengage, Mendrix.
Yeah, exactly. That Monsoon was very well just to push everyone away in that situation. It looked like it was bad for Sykes, but ended up turning in the favor of HKC, getting those kills all importantly onto Jinx, really making sure she's going to be the one that can carry this game coming on through. She's got her pickaxe, and she does have her BF sword. She is also up in CS now against Caitlyn. This is huge for them to have that in that situation. It really should be Caitlyn who's ahead at this stage, but now that that's happening, that means that power trough is really going to be ending soon for Jinx, and look for her to really start taking control of this game as well. CN Lee, he might need to be a little bit careful there, but no, he's popped all that damage going on through. Both ultis going down for them. HKC designs coming in. Nothing going to come on top of it.
Yeah, Elite manages to survive that, to compound the advantage that Jinx has got. Has taken down that bottom lane turret. So the global gold going to everyone. That's closed the deficit quite significantly. It's just 500 gold in it now. And, well, this might be the start of a turning point with Cosa Nostra. That said, they got the first dragon, and they are setting themselves up to have position on the second dragon as soon as it spawns.
Well, they've got the ward coverage there at the moment. There is a teleports up for both of these top laners at the moment, so that means by no chance does Cosa Nostra have this dragon already in their hands. At any point in time, those teleports can come through and completely change the terrain of the team fight that's about to start. So it's going to be interesting to see this. Sykes does cop a little bit of a trap to the face and takes a little bit of damage from Coon, but Coon gets a reply back from the tower there, so Sykes is saying, thanks buddy for making sure that she doesn't get away free from those auto attacks.
Well, they've using the dragon as a little bit of bait. HKC design gets concussed, but he is out of range because he dived into his little ground tunnel there, gets himself away, and now it is all about zoning, and the position is actually in advantage of HKC.
Yeah, this is really bad. They do not want to be in a choke point while Rumble is sitting right there. The moment he lands a good equalizer, look for this to happen on and through. I've managed to make their way out of that choke there. There goes Menacol. He pops his ultimate.
Yeah, and we've got a flanking TP coming in from Posmel. Meganar's not just here, but he will be in just a moment. There you go, pops it up in the background. Saicha got himself, well, he got himself isolated, and that created the opportunity for Spec to get taken down. Victor doing work there, a flash into the wall from Coon Squad, I think. And so, unfortunately, not able to pick up a kill there. And a 2 for 2 in the end. From that engage.
A 2 for 2, but they're in the advantage of HKC. However, HKC does a lot of damage to Coon. Coon has to be a bit more careful in that situation. I thought they were able to turn it around and go straight for the dragon there, but looks like they managed to buy enough time.
Long range super mega death rocket coming through. Hits Posmil and not Coon Squad. As Rek'Sai's ulti gives the signal, well, he's heading on back straight from base. And, well, after all of that, the Cosa Nostra didn't get a turret, and they didn't get the dragon, and in fact, well, I was going to say they might have sacrificed their position of advantage around dragon, but it looks like HKC decided, well, maybe we don't want dragon.
Well, dragon at the moment isn't that important. It's more around, you know, that 25-minute mark that the dragons really start to build up. You do like to have an early advantage because that means it becomes a win condition when it does get closer towards those 4th and 5th dragons. You have to make decisions between the dragons and the barons as well, because say for example you may have advantage in the game, you've managed to really retake control, you want to get the baron, but they have 4 dragons. You can't just give up that dragon. That dragon can really be more effective than Baron when it comes to a team fight situation. So it is very nice to have. Looking at that happen though, they had the opportunity to really just go on through, consolidate their lead, and take a second dragon there.
Coon Squad might be caught out as he's forced to net out of the way. Now the engage is on. It's not really what they wanted to choose to do, but Minacol, so menacing actually, gets the zoning going. Spartan caught the Azir, and a nice long range shot from Coon Squad sets up the first kill. There's the double kill for him, and they have earned themselves a second dragon. The Super Mega Death Rocket not able to do enough damage to actually kill anybody from that situation. So lovely zoning play from Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, they played that very well in that situation. They thought they managed to get really a jump on them on the side of HKC, but there wasn't enough. That net was really good to get on through. Brom played an amazing role in that situation. His Unbreakables were up at the perfect time there, even at the very end, to really mitigate the damage from that Super Mega Death Rocket as well. They managed to pick up themselves another 3 kills, and now they've taken their second dragon. They do have the Baron coming up in the next minute and a half, but they probably won't be going too crazy for that in that situation. They're going to go back now. Blue Pill, as you meant, like to say, in that situation, and consolidate their lead. Another big thing coming through from that as well is that the ultimate from Brom wasn't used in that situation. There was a nice equalizer used, but it didn't manage to hit anyone. It was sort of blocking a retreat path, and in that situation, Kostanos was like, "We're not retreating yet, buddy. Where you putting that equalizer? Let's just go through, and we're going to take a few kills. Once the equalizer's worn off, we'll walk back on through and pick up that dragon."
Yeah, it's kind of a soft disengage in comparison to the Monsoon, which you could call almost a hard disengage. Everyone gets knocked back by it. Menacol doing great work as the support, maintaining vision control for his team, heading through there and clearing out a pink ward, while the rest of his team, I don't know, gets themselves into position around the mid lane. Coon Squad down in the bottom lane keeps keeping the split push going. They really want to get that turret back in return. In fact, they don't have any turrets at this stage. It's just the one that has gone down to HKC. And that really is a reflection of how close this game has gone as we approach the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, the moment the towers start falling on the side of Cosa Nostra, look for the advantages really start to build. They do have that big siege team comp at the moment. So what they're waiting for is a couple towers to fall down. This opens up the laning phase and really sets up the mid game for them, and that's when you'll see the sieges begin. Mind you, they do have a lot of wave clear thanks to their saving grace, which is going to be Azir and Spectre. This pops his ultimate there. Takes a lot of damage out of Spectre. He's going to have to get it away. The first tower has fallen on the side of Cosa Nostra. Second tower, there we go. Every
quick as you can, yeah.
Everywhere across.
So fantastic work, and straight away there's a swing in gold. We're at 3,000 gold, the advantage now in favor of Cosa Nostra. So the Diamond team really taking it to the challenges at the moment, pushing very hard right now. They've got 2 dragons, they've got 8 kills in favor against 5 in reply from HKC. Now 2 turrets for 1. So putting together what they need to in order to force the challengers onto the back foot and back into their base.
Yeah, they haven't. You've had 2 members back so far with this massive gold swing. Probably look for the a few items to finish. IE has been finished for Caitlyn. She's also got her zeal as well. That's pretty much enough for them to say, yep, let's group together and start a really good siege on through. 5 members now in the mid lane. 2 are still struggling for the side of Cosa Nostra at the moment. Now they're pushing on through. HKAYCEE just throwing out a zap, getting CN Spartan, chipping away a little bit of health there. But now everyone's here. Look for that. This is the moment we're talking about, where they're going to be Cosa Nostra trying to wear down HKAYCEE, and a massive engaged moment coming through from HKAYCEE when they see the opportunity to.
Yeah, just trying to get a little bit of poke down before they get into the engage. So far, Spartan's really the only one that's taken any of those hits, and he seems to be okay at this stage. And goodness me, if there has been a tense moment in this match, this is it, as all 5 members of each team are in the mid lane. Posmil, you can see, is about to proc his Mega Gnar, and that is exactly the signal that they need to push through, get some advantage, get some damage down onto the turret. And that's really all that they need at this stage, Mendrix. There's a bit of damage on the turret, take it down, and then clear out.
Exactly, and this is one of the big things these really good teams are good at. If they don't need to take a kill to get an objective, they won't take the kill. They'll simply take the objective and walk away, because that means they still won in that situation. They're going to slowly get more and more powerful, and it's just going to be more easy for them to brute force their objective down. There goes Menasol!
Menacol goes in and he gets his ulti down. The follow-up, though, is very, very slow, and in fact, very, very dangerous, as Spectre picks up a kill. Elite gets his... It gets a side note as the quadra kill gets picked up by Spectre. What an incredible turnaround. And in fact, let's just hit the backspace and have a look at that team fight again, because unbelievably, Spectre coming through, picking up the kills. Incredible.
Really, that was that one little Q rocket that came on through there, just managed to hit 3 people and splash damage, and it was huge. Menasol thought he had the opportunity to really start a good engage. It looked good in that situation, but this is what we're talking about. Cosa Nostra has a more poke, we're going to weigh you down sort of team fight. They hadn't worn down HKAYCEE enough. That opened up the opportunity for all that real big AoE damage and team fight potential HKAYCEE has to really get them through. And now Spectre is 6-1-3. You do not want the kills going to him. Look for him to back now, probably finish off a Phantom Dancer or a Static Shift. He's probably got enough wave clear, so it's going to be a Phantom Dancer. There it is. After that, he's probably going to look to start getting his Bloodthirst to make himself a bit strong. But now the map has opened up in favor of HKAYCEE. They now have managed to pick up to get another 2 turrets there. This opens up those objectives. 40 seconds until the dragon comes up, the next major contention point, but HKAYCEE are now in the driving seat. They've managed to really put that gold lead back in their favor now.
Yeah, an incredible turnaround there, and we were just saying how CSN didn't really need to engage. They had gotten the objective, they needed to back off. Spartan was doing a little bit of blue pill BM, and things turned around and bit them on the ass. They're posturing around the dragon now. It's dragon number 3 coming along, and you just get the feeling that HKAYCEE fancy their chances to pick up a dragon themselves, or at the very least prevent dragon number 3 from falling to Cosa Nostra.
Oh, the morale would be so high at the moment as well. And they managed to chunk 2 members there as well. CN Spartan dropping to almost half there. Menasol's also down. I'm not sure why there was that EQ before trying to find and engage. You guys need to wear them down before you can engage. Don't try to do it. And now they're posturing around that dragon, but it's sort of in that open area now. They've got Posmo. He's about to go Mega, but will they start the dragon? There it is. It has started up.
Yeah, so they're going to force the fight here and try and use what they can to get the zone in. This dragon's very, very low. You're going to have a smite fight, and it gets taken by the blue team, and they turn their damage on. Spectre gets an unstoppable, taking down his counterpart, and in fact, Posmo knows that he's gone. So what on earth was that? That's got to be a bug that Spartan wasn't able to Q to his E there.
I think he might have just missed it. They did reduce the amount of proximity you need to have between your Dragon Lance and your E to make it go on through there. So he might have been really stopped mid gank as well. There's a few things that could have happened in that situation. What happened there though was they started the Dragon without wearing down HKC. Another mistake that they made. You need to wear them down. That's the team that you have. Wear them down first, then you can fight. They were too much. They got too greedy. Went straight for the Dragon there. A beautiful equalizer by HKC. As I mentioned before, they're able to turn the team fight whenever they want as long as that equalizer is on. He landed it, and then it was beautiful there. Another amazing Mega Death Rocket by Spectre as well, and now they're well and truly in control. They've got their first Dragon at this point in the game, having that really big boost, especially having that gold lead. That means that 3% damage buff and AP buff is going to be much larger for them as well, and now they've got this, CN's morale are going to be down low. They need to stop what they're doing, stop trying to force engages, and just let it naturally happen. They have a siege team. Play to your strengths.
And you were just saying how the morale of HKC would have been high, and you get the sense that they know that they've gained the advantages they need and they now need to press it. 4,000 gold is their lead. They've been behind up until just after the 20-minute mark, and all of a sudden they have a 4,000 gold lead. That is, sorry, 3,000 gold lead. That is huge. As well, Azir now has his own poke. His soldiers are going to be proccing Luden's Echo every chance that he can, and this might be interesting. A sneaky Baron from Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, it's not really sneaky when the whole team has seen you posturing around there as well, but they're burning it down fairly quickly as well. They might have an opportunity to get in there. There was a really nice sort of gravity field put down there, but when the fight happens, everyone's just posturing around. They've managed to force him off the Baron now. Nothing's really going to break out of that situation. Just throwing out all the little pokes and all the little hits that they can do in that situation. Really, HKC sort of came out on top there because now they've got all this pressure around the map. All the lanes have been pushed out, and now that Cosa Nostra has to back on out in the situation. And as you can see, everyone's really making their way towards that top area where it's been pushed up. That is the last infrastructure, that area that hasn't started to be pushed down by HKC. They could actually push this and take it quick enough, but they're not going to risk it. They know that they're ahead. They're just going to back away and wait for another mistake on the side of Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, Cosa Nostra heading on up through the jungle and would have been spotted by this blue ward in the tri-brush. So just deciding, well, okay, we'll push the lane up, and it's not the ideal opportunity. Let's head on out there. So we're into a quiet moment as we approach. Well, it's just gone 28 minutes in this match. A 3,500 gold lead in favor of HKC, and well, things looking a little bit tighter for CSN. I don't think we're going to see Spartan doing any sort of BM at any point from this point onwards. Hopefully he will knuckle down, concentrate on what he needs to do, because his team are going to have to work very, very hard to regain the advantage that they had in the early game.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be an uphill battle now for Cosa Nostra in this situation. Another big thing you have to look at Jinx. She has a full item on top of him. But, oh, Menasol might have been caught out there by Jonty Wanty.
Yeah, well, things might turn around there. And in fact, it does. Coon Squad picking up the kill on the Azir. A very, very important kill for any sort of team engages that are going on. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Spectre is going to be pushing at this lane. And, of course, Jinx, the master shredder of turrets. The turret goes down, but in reply, we've got the Cosa Nostra boys heading to the mid lane, and 4 of the players are here to take down this second tier turret. And the question now is going to be, are they going to book it, or are they going to stick around?
They should probably book it, and looks like booking it they are. Very, very bad there by Jonty wanting to really be taking up the front line in that situation. That's why you should leave it to Design to really go in there and be his guy who should be the first one on the bush. The moment that you have an Azir face checking, that's when you're going to die. There was an amazing crit coming through from Caitlyn, then that was dropped on through. Although in the end they only ended up trading objectives, but they seem to have a death rush sorted out. They're waiting for a pick. Who will they find?
Wow, and the eye in the sky doesn't pick them up, and a great little gank going down, picking up a kill on the Rumble, but it's not over just yet. Menacol having to do the defensive work as Jonty Wanty comes back, takes him down, and everybody's running at the moment. Is forced to flash away, so it's just a 1-for-1 at this stage. The Death Rush not entirely successful. Jonty Wanty comes from behind and picks up a second kill in the row there. So, well, that kind of backfired on them.
Yeah, they had a really good engage there in that situation. They had the right idea, but they didn't have enough plays to really follow up the advantage. Because the thing is that you want to be able to blow someone up instantly and then continue piling them through, having that extra one-man advantage on top of it. But then what happened in that situation though is they didn't have enough men there. It was still a 3-on-3 situation. The chase was just too strong by HKC, and they were able to pick up an extra 2 kills in return for it. That was really sneaky there. I think CN Elite managed to pick up the blue buff with his death ray.
Yeah, that was very, very well done. As we've got the red team now again around this dragon, but you can see they're just a little bit more hesitant because they drop down the gravity field for some zoning potential and then get away, get out of there. Spartan though has got himself a little bit isolated, picks up some poke and gets well forced back. He's below 50% HP and he is the jungler, so that's not a good situation to be when the dragon is what you're going for. Design is on the front line. Spectre takes down Kuhn, and well, it's still not over. Spartan's going to get picked up. Spectre doing an incredible job as the Jinx, picking up kill after kill after kill. 11, 1, and 6 at this stage. And unfortunately, Koonswad getting caught out there by his ADC opponent. And then the dragons are even.
Sinches for his HG sword, his rumble has been amazing. His first initial rumble ultimate wasn't that good, but every preceding rumble ultimate after that has been amazing. It's been on point, it's been landing in the right areas. He's got the Delandries, he's also got his Zhonyas as well. This Baron is melting on the side of HKC. They've really picked up an advantage there as well. Now they have the sieging power to really go through and push and take out Cosa Nostra in this situation. Another big thing there, you've got the amazing janitor work by Spectre. He's always well in position, and Sykes has been doing a great job peeling for him. He's been sitting there and he's been hitting like a freight rate train, each auto attack at a time. And now they are well and truly in the driver's seat. That gold lead that we were talking about before, which was once 3k in the favor of Cosa Nostra, is now 6k in the favor of HKC. And with that Baron buff, look for them to barrel right down through the middle. That Rumble Ultimate is up. The Azir's Emperor's Divide is up. Super Mega Death Rocket is up as well. All ultimates are on par here. Well, the moment one mistake is made by Cosa Nostra, look for that Equalizer to go right on down, and for them to push through to try and take them from victory. Really just go straight for the jugular.
So Rek'Sai on split pushing duties at the moment. He doesn't have a lot in, well, he only has 2 options in terms of tunnels to ulti to. And there you go, he picks the one option, heads on into the mid lane. He's got the call from his team as they now send their minions buffed up through the mid lane and head towards the first inhibitor turret of the game. It's been close up until this point, so you know, even though one team has had an advantage over the other at any given point, you've never felt as though the game is completely snowballed out of control. But if anybody is now gaining the edge, it is the Baron buffed HKC at this stage. That's it, Mendrix. Look at this. Look at the wave clear on the part of CSN.
They do have a lot of wave clear to really make sure they get through. As I mentioned before, they're a siege team. But in that situation, when that wave hit the tower, they managed to get a few chunks off. Menacle's doing a great job with his Unbreakable there, but Spectre's getting a lot of free shots there now. That tower might fall down if they're not careful.
Well, Spectre critting for 1,000 damage. And there you go. The Jinx turret monster eats another one. And quick as you please, they get an inhibitor as well. And now they decide they're going to pull out and head on away. There's a ping down on that bottom inhib turret, but at this stage, well, they've got to go and fetch their minions first.
Well, the thing is that now that they've got that Baron buff still going as well, there's a bit of time left on it. That's a massive wave in the bot lane there as well. So the thing is that when that crashes, it's going to be empowered, it's going to do a lot of damage. They can just brute force this. Probably look for them to really just jump in on this as soon as it hits.
Yeah, the zoning comes down. Posmil has taken a huge amount of damage. Meganar is approaching, but it won't be there in time before that turret gets taken down. Jinx again picking up the last hits, unsurprisingly, on that turret. The inhib seems to be a little bit safer this stage. There's not that confident flow through into the base from HKC, and the chase is now on. So Posmal looking to try and catch somebody, and there's the wombo combo that comes through. But Jonty Wanty had the Emperor's Divide ready and waiting, and they have managed to survive. That's a 2 for 1. Sorry, 2 for none, in fact. And the flash is coming through as, goodness me,
there's a surrender.
Well,
yeah,
well, well.
They'd lost full control. Really, that next inhibitor that they had thought they had saved was about to fall. Now they had lost 2 more members, and you didn't even need Jinx to be there to get it. It was just one of those situations where you thought, okay, now they've well and truly cracked the base. They're going to probably get the next dragon as well. They're ahead, roughly 10k ahead of us as well, and it's really kind of hard to come back from 2 super minions in 1 lane, especially when you've got a team comp that can really just run at your face and make that, and that's effective at that point.
Well, in the end, it was a close match for a lot of the time, but Cosa Nostra deciding they had lost too much of their advantage, fallen too far behind, calling in the surrender. That was a fantastic match, though, and we're looking forward to some more later on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in 5 or 10 minutes, depending on when the next game gets set up, bringing you more action on Gamestah TV from the Skynet Winter Tournament in Wellington. This is HKAYCEE and Mendrix signing out.